Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I hope you're having a good day. I'd like to provide you with training today, and our topic for today is leadership values. So, if you're a leader or you are an aspiring leader, it's important that you listen to this video and really take the time to consider what your values are as a leader. As a leader, your values are your compass. They're those things that guide you. They're the things that you take into consideration when you're making your decisions. They guide you along the path of leadership. They influence your decisions. They're things that you are always aware of. The importance of having values as a leader is because the higher you go as a leader, the more your values will be tested. So if your values are superficial, so you say you value fairness, or you say you value hard work, or you say you value kindness, the higher you go, the more pressure you will experience as a leader, and it will be tested. And if it is a case of the fact that your values are superficial, then it will be exposed for what it is. So it's important that you have these values, but you just don't say them, but you practice them. The time to practice leadership values is whilst you're unknown, you're relatively unknown, you're still going up the corporate ladder, or you're still growing as a leader. That is the time to practice your values, because the more you practice, the way practice works is that the more you practice, the more familiar you become with your values, and the easier it gets to actually practice those values. So values, just like things like self-discipline, it's hard initially to start off with, but the more you practice it, the more it becomes a part of who you are as a person. It's important for you to have values, because values actually protect you, and it protects those that are around you. It's important as a leader that you identify what your values are. So your values, you could say you value self-discipline, or you value fairness, or respect, or kindness. Whatever your values are, identify those values and then practice those values, because the reality is people don't just listen to what you say, but they actually watch you. And so your values are the kind of thing whereby it's not something that you're saying or you're proclaiming or evangelizing about it, but it's something that can be seen in what you do on a day-to-day basis. For instance, when you watch a snake, you see that it slithers, and you see that it's long, and you are able to identify that as a snake. If you see a dog, it barks, it might be furry or have straight hair, whatever the case might be, but the characteristics of that animal actually helps you to identify that animal for what it is. And it's the same with values. Your values are not determined by what you say, but your values are determined by what you do. And so when people watch you, when they watch the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, they're able to identify you as a value-driven leader. They're able to identify you as someone who values self-discipline, or values respect, or values kindness, or values fairness. So it's not just about what you're saying. Yes, you should actually be able to proclaim what your values are, but more than just saying what your values are, it's more important that you practice your values from day to day. When you fail, as you most likely will, it's important that you're honest with that and just move ahead. Don't let it stop you from practicing it. Just because you failed in practicing a certain value doesn't mean that you should stop. For instance, when a child is crawling, just because they fall down whilst they're crawling, when they're trying to get up, doesn't mean that they stop learning how to walk. So if the child is crawling, they've decided that they need to walk because that's where they feel that they're being led to, they will fall several times. And that's the same thing with values. As you're practicing your values, you've identified your values, perhaps it's honesty, fairness, respect, whatever the case may be. There are times when you will fall short of those values. Does that mean you stop being a value-driven leader? No, you are still a value-driven leader. It's just the only thing is that you failed on that particular day, in that particular occasion. So what do you do then? You assess the situation, you observe what you did wrong, and you learn from it, and you move forward. You take those lessons and you keep practicing, you keep implementing your values, so that one day it's not going to be just a matter of what you're saying. People can actually vouch for you. They can speak for you and say that is a value-driven leader. That leader actually says what they value, and it's actually evidenced in the way that they lead their people. So become a value-driven leader today. Identify what your values are and get started with practicing those values. Okay, these are my thoughts for you today. Please feel free to share this video with whoever you think needs to hear it. From my heart to yours, do take it easy. Bye.